Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're back in New York, and we're down at our local spot.
We're sitting by this iconic bin. Well, it's called trash can in this country. So it's a bin. If I say rubbish, which put in the rubbish, the Americans all look at me like, what's she talking about?
Yeah.
Where's a rubbish bin? And they don't know.
They don't know what a mess. Not a thing here. But this is a classic. Here comes all the noise. It's very quiet.
What's going on?
This is a classic, I guess you could say, inner city basketball court. Of course, there isn't any inner city basketball going on, but over here you got two inner city girls beating each other up. They're playing some baseball down there, and on the next one they're playing football. There's an elderly white gentleman here playing tuba, probably because his wife won't let him practice at home.
I was going to say that.
And yeah, we're just along the East River, so back in New York, and we're reading Bhagavatam.
Canto 4, Chapter 22, Text 4.
And the chapter is entitled King Prithu
Meets the Four
Kumaras.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Alright, text 4. When the great sages accepted their reception according to the instructions of the sastras and finally took their seats offered by the king, influenced by the glories of the sages, immediately bowed down. Thus he worshipped the four Kumaras. Purport. The four Kumaras are Parampara spiritual masters of the Vaishnava Sampradaya. Out of the four Sampradayas, namely Brahma Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya and Rudra Sampradaya, this disciplined succession of spiritual master to disciple, known as the Kumara Sampradaya, is coming down from the four Kumaras. So Prithu Maharaj was very respectful to the Sampradaya Acharyas, as it is said by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Shaksha Daritvena Samasta Sastra. A spiritual master or the Parampara Acharya should be respected exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Vidivat is significant in this verse. This means that Prithu Maharaj also strictly followed the injunctions of the Sastras in receiving a spiritual master or Acharya of the transcendental disciplic succession. Whenever an Acharya is seen, one should immediately bow down before him. Prithu Maharaj did this properly. Therefore, the words used here are Prashrayanata Kandara. Out of humility, he bowed down before the Kumaras. It's nice. It's like what Prabhupada explains in his books, that even if you see a Mayavadi sannyasi, you at least pay your respects. We're not like interested to hear what they got to say, quite frankly, but at least we can pay our respects to a saintly person. And it's true. It shows, I would say, one's own spiritual maturity as well. You know, I'm not a Buddhist, or I'm not Muslim, or I'm not this, I'm not that. But one spiritual person should recognize another one, you know. It reminds me of when we used to do like book tables with my mentee group. The worst situation, to be honest with you, it wasn't just general public or weirdos, it was actually like Christians. And some Christians have really come up to the table we had and been quite unpleasant actually. And it was like, wait a minute, we're just trying to spread the message of God, like I guess you are. I assume you are. And it's sad actually, because what it does is people who are undecided, when they look at that, a lot of people say, I don't want to get into religion, this or that, look, I can't even get on, you know. And let's be honest, all the wars around the world and that, this faith and that faith and this and that. So yeah, it's like Prabhupada actually, we just read that. I guess in Matchless, the book, the Matchless Gifts. Prabhupada made a point, or maybe I read it somewhere else then, but anyway, he made a point about that actually it wasn't in Matchless, it was in Vishaka Mahashi's biography. 5 years, 11 months, and when reporters were asking him, as they always did when you arrived at the airport and that, try to just ask all these questions and, you know, what you're doing here, why are you here, blah blah blah, and your way is the only way, and he said no, he said, which is an often thing is often said, you stay in the faith you're in. We're okay with that, but just glorify the Lord, you know, just follow the Lord's instructions according to how he's telling you, and this is what we're happy with, you know. And for Vijaka Nataji, who was a young graduate, you know, university student who was getting to know this person who definitely wasn't coming from her background, it was really something that resonated with her on an intellectual platform, actually, that, oh, okay, that's interesting, you know. And it's true though. So yeah, just what stood out for me in terms of offering respect, you know, to holy people, and just it's just kind of seems like common sense. It's almost like you should feel like here's a kindred spirit almost, you know, in this material world, that someone else is also trying to practice what they do, you know.
Yeah, I guess the thing about offering respect to a Mayavadi sannyasi is because I seem to recall that it was in a context where Srila Prabhupada was stating that shastrically it says whenever you see a sannyasi, or the first time you see a sannyasi, you should offer obeisances. But every time you see your guru, you should offer obeisances. So the reason you offer, and then he said, so even if you see a Mayavad sannyasi, you should offer obeisances, because you're offering obeisances in this situation specifically to the ashram, to the fact that the person has taken the renounced order. Taken to the renounced order. So it's all going off here. If we get murdered, just, you know, at least it was filming. Yeah, so that was there. And I was going to say something else. I was thinking something. But anyhow. So yeah,
he's
so
getting distracted.
Yeah, so it's specifically to the, you know, to offer obeisances to the ashram in that sense. Yeah, of course, we're also offering respect to the jiva that's in the body, but it's explained that when we offer pranams, or when we offer obeisances to someone, we're offering those obeisances to Krishna, who's the super soul of the heart, like that. Okay, so the next verse, text 5. After this, the king took the water which had washed the lotus feet of the Kumaras, and he sprinkled it over his hair. By such respectful actions, the king, as an exemplary personality, showed how to receive a spiritually advanced personality. So, as per usual, you take some water, dust from the lotus feet, or if you take dust and you put it on your head. So like this, the king to be taking the water that's washed the feet of someone and putting it on his head is almost insulting. But to take that water from the lotus feet of great brahmanas, with to speak of the 4 Kumars, is like incredible. Okay, purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Apani achari prabhu jivera shikhaya. It is very well known that whatever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught in his life as Acharya, he himself practiced. When he was preaching as a devotee, although he was detected by several great personalities to be the incarnation of Krishna, he never agreed to be addressed as an incarnation. Even though one may be an incarnation of Krishna or especially empowered by him, he should not advertise that he is an incarnation. People will automatically accept the real truth in due course of time. Prithu Maharaj was the ideal Vaishnava king. Therefore, he taught others by his personal behavior how to receive and respect saintly persons like the Kumaras. When a saintly person comes to one's home, it is the Vedic custom first to wash his feet with water and then sprinkle the water over the heads of oneself and one's family. Prithu Maharaj did this, for he was an exemplary teacher of the people in general. So here we have a quite amazing point in Vedic culture, which is that when a special person, saintly person, a devotee comes to your home, you should wash their feet. Now, of course, most devotees don't want you to wash their feet. I remember that time Radhanath Maharaj came to our house and I prepared the whole tray. I had the water, had everything. But then Maharaj came in and sat down and, he wasn't really having any of it. He's generally not into that. Now, maybe if we were kind of pushy, or you could say like maybe a highly cultured Indian family in India, Maharaj might go along with it. But because I'm simply a heathen, then he's like, no. And then that's the end. But the principle being that, and I wish I could remember the Bengali, Dana Stira something, Stira Duli, some Stira Pani. Anyway, there are 3 items that Lord Chaitanya says are sacred. It's the dust of the lotus feet, the water that has washed the lotus feet, and the remnants of prasadam. All of these things, these 3 items from the pure devotee are wanted. And we know Narada Muni, by eating the remnants of the Bhaktivedantas, he then became Narada Muni. Before that, he was the son of a maidservant, so like that.
Text 6. So we got technical difficulties.
Well, yeah, I forgot my iPad, so read.
That's the technical difficulty. The 4 Greek sages were elder to Lord Shiva. When they were seated on the golden throne, they appeared just like fire blazing on an altar. Maharaj Prithu, out of his great gentleness and respect for them, began to speak with great restraint as follows. Purport. The Kumaras are described herein as the elder brothers of Lord Shiva. When the Kumaras were born out of the body of Lord Brahma, they were requested to get married and increase the population. In the beginning of the creation, there was a great need of population. In the beginning of creation, there was a great need of population. Therefore, Lord Brahma was creating one son after another and ordering them to increase. However, when the Kumaras were requested to do so, they declined. They wanted to remain brahmachari throughout life and be engaged fully in the devotional service of the Lord. The Kumaras are called Naishtika Brahmachari, meaning they are never to marry. Because of their refusal to marry, Lord Brahma became so angry that his eyes became reddish. From between his eyes, Lord Shiva or Rudra appeared. The mode of anger is consequently known as Rudra. Lord Shiva also has a Sampradaya party known as the Rudra Sampradaya, and they are also known as Vaishnavas. This is how Lord Shiva appeared, because Lord Brahma got angry, and interesting enough, the connection with the 4 Kumaras is he got angry with them because they wouldn't reproduce.
Yeah, they wouldn't get married and have kids.
But isn't it interesting that Lord Shiva was produced due to the anger of Lord Brahma, and yet Lord Shiva is always calmly meditating on Ram, I believe.
On what?
On Lord Ram.
On Sankirtan, Krishna.
So So it's always it's interesting. But yeah.
It's interesting. Why?
Well, he was
He
produced.
was born from anger, but he's calm.
Yeah.
But he's also, if I'm not mistaken, Lord Shiva is also, isn't it? He's easily pleased, but he's also easily angered, right?
Mm.
So.
Yeah, well, people wind you up, but on the whole, he's like.
Well, I mean, he tolerated daksha quite a bit.
Oh, that's one hell of a pastime, that one, isn't it? I've got to reread that again.
Reread. So, you read the purport and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay, let's try. Let's read one more. Okay, King Prithu spoke. My dear great sages, so this is text number 7. My dear great sages, auspiciousness personified. It is very difficult for even the mystic yogis to see you. Indeed, you are very rarely seen. I do not know what kind of pious activity I performed for you to grace me by appearing before me without difficulty. It's a very humble mood King Prithu's in. He's like, I have no idea what could I have done to cause this. So then purport by Srila Prabhupada. When something uncommon happens in one's progressive spiritual life, it should be understood to be incurred by a Gyata Sukriti, or pious activities beyond one's knowledge. To see personally the Supreme Personality of Godhead or His pure devotee is not an ordinary incident. When such things happen, they should be understood to be caused by previous pious activity, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:28. Yasham twantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam. One who is completely freed from all the resultant actions of sinful activities and who is absorbed only in pious activities can engage in devotional service. Although Maharaj Prithu's life was full of pious activities, he was wondering how his audience with the Kumaras happened. He could not imagine what kind of pious activities he had performed. This is a sign of the humility on the part of King Prithu, whose life was so full of pious activities that even Lord Vishnu came to see him and predicted that the Kumaras would also come. Very, very powerful and important verse. So, and interesting also because we're reading a book called Madhurya Kadambini by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, and he's discussing at the moment the source of bhakti and how bhakti is not caused by anything else. It is simply manifest by the mercy of devotees who are empowered because of their perpetual glorification or association with the Lord. So here we see, but there are contradicting statements because here it seems to say that basically in order to achieve bhakti, then one has had to have performed so many yajnas, so many bathed in so many sacred rivers, chanted so many prayers or so many mantras, and done so many things, given so much in charity. So all of these things are also mentioned. But in Madhurya Kadambini, in the first shower, Dinabandhu Prabhu explains that also there's a place which Charya is described in. Giving in charity is done as a sadhana. Doing some worship or puja of a great person is done as a sadhana. So all these things are a sadhana to Krishna. They're not the cause, but they are a manifestation of a practice that leads to the perfection. I hope that all made sense. I think I probably lost myself. Well, I didn't lose myself, but I might have lost a few people along the way.
Lost a pigeon.
Lost a pigeon. Okay, so we'll finish there. Thank you very much for tuning in. I can see the sun's getting a little too bright for my good wife. I have to go and get with my bad wife, who doesn't mind the sun. Kidding. Just a joke, just a joke. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, and
we need to do a shout out
we're going to do a shout out here.
to a special view. I mean, you're all special viewers.
You're all special viewers.
No one
We
get
do
upset.
shout outs to different viewers at different
We
times.
shout and we go out.
His name is, or your name is, Chetan Halai.
Chetan.
Hello, Chetan. Chetan
Hare
Halai.
Krishna, Chetan.
Hopefully you'll hear this. We might give you a shout out at the beginning of the next one, but we were told that you watch these religiously.
Yeah, so that means you should watch it
So
to the
if
end.
you don't get a shout, if you don't hear your shout out, it's because you're not watching.
Exactly.
So yeah, Nimai Chandrapur did share with us that he met you. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being a dedicated viewer, and we just feel greatly honored that anything that we are doing is creating or generating some inspiration for someone else in their spiritual life.
Yes.
And it's only by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, and of course Krishna, that we're able to do anything. So thank you, Chetan Halai. And if anyone who's watching knows him and he's not watching, then let him know. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.